Give them that.
We're going to jump right into the first semifinal of this tournament. Shana against Stormlike. Stormlike bringing the red-green instead of the Storm for the first game. And Shana looks like mono green actually with the hand here, but it is going to be a red-green mirror. Both players have the, well, actually one has Lycan, one has Omni Knight. That is a weird hand.
That is an odd hand. I mean, on the one hand, you're happy to see an early Mist of Avernus.
That's true.
But on the other hand, you'd love to develop these unearthed secrets, and you can't for at least another turn. So on top of that, when you bring down your second green hero in the following round, you'll have those Roseleaf Druids, which are always tempting. So a bit of a rough start for Shana, but I'm sure that he will make the most of it.
And the green hero in the first lane for Stormlike, not normally a thing you want to see as this red green. You want to have your green hero in lanes 2 or 3 to throw back a improvement and then have the lane 1 dominance with a possible Time of Triumph early on with a green and red pairing. But yeah, you also see no ramp for Stormlike really. Just Time of Triumph is there, but everything else is
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say the good news for Shana is Stormlike's hand is pretty clunky as well. You really don't want Viscous Nasal Goo or All-Seeing One's Favor this early in this particular matchup. Neither one is doing much to help you out. But you do have the Time of Triumph, so if you find some stars aligned, you find a bit of help, you're in a slightly better position than Shana is currently.
The All-Seeing One's Favor can save a creep in the second lane. Bristleback will be dying no matter what, though. No item has been bought by Stormlike. And I think we will see a Roseleaf Druid, like you said, come down in lane 2 with a Treant here, just to accelerate the ramp a tiny bit, at least by 1 turn.
And another Time of Triumph, but still no ramp for Stormlike. Meanwhile, on the other side, Shana finally picked up a red card. Congratulations.
And there's a first regen coming in lane 1, and the walls begin to form for Stormlike.
All right, now again, Roseleaf Druid is typically attractive because you want to start getting your ramp, even if this is just 1 mana, every bit helps.
And there's a second regen card that you want to have early on that are modify effects, so the moment you play them, for the rest of the game, no matter how long it goes, you're going to gain value for that card. With the regeneration on your whole lane, every single ally gets +2.
And Shana here, because of the way the lane is going, says, I would much rather develop Unearthed Secrets, which is an interesting choice. You had an opportunity to maybe save your Lycan because you could have taken the arrow away from Axe if you would have played a Druid or a Savage Wolf, but wants the card draw instead.
And Shana going all in on lane 2, hoping to find a Stars Align and a Time of Triumph maybe. Lane 3, you've seen Axe alone in lane 3 very often, but this time going to push some pretty good damage without any creep blocking, and the Legionnaire and the creep on his sides. Has some friends there for him.
Yeah, with the way this game is going so far, I can't help but question the choice to not save your Lycan in that third lane, because Axe and the Bronze Legionnaire are going to push a healthy amount of damage there.
Stonehall Elite can come down, but because of the regen, will not be killing this creep in 1 blow, which is pretty vital, I think, for Stonehall Elite. Stunting the growth there in lane 1. The duel also cannot kill the Omni Knight. This is one of the benefits of Omni Knight. He has that 12 health instead of the, 10, for example, on Treant. So even with a weapon like a Jasper Daggers, the Bristleback still could not kill the Omni Knight in 1 hit either.
Yeah, I mean, you highlight the real reason that Omni Knight sees play. The 12 health is a bit of a difference. There are a number of ways that heroes can deal 10 exactly. We talk about heroes like Phantom Assassin or Bristleback once there's an item equipped, but 12 is just that little bit more, and sometimes having a green hero alive is the most important thing, specifically when you're looking for ramp. So that is why Omni Knight is likely seeing as much play in this tournament.
And the third All-Seeing One's Favor has been drawn, so if Stormlike wants, the setup is here. He can create a literal wall of creeps that cannot be killed, even by a Stonehall Elite.
With nothing else to do, he says, okay.
And that is a scary prospect looking forward.
I'm going to turn Omni Knight into a healing paladin that will not stop.
Mist is developed in lane 2, so I think maybe Shana will start maybe ignoring, lane 1, and focusing on lane 2 now. And, well, lane 3 is actually in a bit of trouble, so maybe he cannot ignore it.
Yeah, Shana is unfortunately a bit behind, which is again why I was questioning the option of drawing versus saving the Lycan. You want to draw your ramp, so like, don't get me wrong, I'm fully on board with the Unearthed Secrets, but is potentially going to cost him.
The Daggers comes down. This could be a duel.
Yes, a duel on Axe, for example, would take it out because of the piercing and then the retaliate.
That's correct. That's what we're reading here. If you guys are deaf, you want to read instead, I'll be able to hover over the daggers so you can read that.
I'm glad you're verbally telling the deaf people exactly.
It accessible. Maybe they have a translator next to them. Sign language, helping them view Artifact.
Keep me safe, friend.
And another Roseleaf Druid comes down, so that will potentially open up Emissary next turn. And in this lane where you have Mist of Avernus and this relatively wide board, that is actually a scary development for Stormlike.
Well, on this sad day for the Roseleaf Druids, one will die and the other will take its place, but the mana will remain. One away from the Emissary next turn. We'll be still at 7 once this Roseleaf Druid dies. We see the duel there onto the Treant Protector.
Now that's an interesting decision there, because if you're Stormlike, you're saying, I really fear this green hero, right?
And the punish here, the duel onto the creep, and now the Bronze Legionnaire is still going to kill the Treant no matter what. There's no item to save the Treant, and the Legionnaire will sacrifice itself, but the hero kill, I think, is very important, and also gets the gold for another Blink Dagger, maybe.
Yeah, that is still really interesting to me, because with the way that lane was developing, you're saying, like, very specifically, I don't want my opponent to be able to ramp further. Now that is...
Stonehall Cloak is found. Time of Triumph still not there for any player. I guess the ramp just not showing up for either player, so a very fair red-green mirror in this case, but I think just from the deployment and the current stage of the setup in the early game with the regen, for example, onto Omni Knight and Treant, I think it just might be in favor of Stormlike, to be honest. Also has the Triumph in hand already, whereas Shana has the Emissary instead, which I think is not as strong in the current matchup.
Yeah, Stormlike is certainly out to a much faster start. Shana's decision to just abandon the third lane so early has created this level of tempo that is favoring Stormlike, because he only has to win one other lane. And he's got a lot of regen in lane 1, which will help push that. And he's, as a result, just putting bodies in lane 2 to try to win. And even if he doesn't, he can just stall it out. It is creating some real problems for Shana.
And the Blink Dagger's there as well. So once Axe takes over this third lane, he's not even stuck there. He can move and help his fellow compatriots in lane 1 or 2. And he'll be able to take down that second lane. So the current just situation in terms of lane deployment, hero deployment, and just control of the lane, I think, is in favor of Stormlike. But
now,
these are the rounds where if you draw Stars Align, all of a sudden you're going to be the one that's going to be favored.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I'm a little surprised by the Lycan placement here in the first lane, because if you did find a Stars Align, you don't have Time of Triumph in your hand. You only have Emissary, and Emissary is still very attractive in the second lane. But instead, Stormlike puts a green hero here and just 2 red in the middle.
Now the favor is here for Stormlike. There isn't a response. You cannot kill the Omni Knight this turn with the Bristleback with a duel. There isn't a Jasper Daggers in hand. And this means that we're going to see a 3-man Time at Triumph, or 3-person, Legion is not a man, in the second lane. And that's going to be really, really dangerous for Shana. I mean, the Cleave's going to clear out most of this very wide lane. You don't have the ramp yourself to answer back with an Emissary. You have the initiative to kill the Treant Protector, but the ramp is already there. It's on the board. You cannot counter. There isn't a smash, I believe, in Shana's list either.
There are a couple, I believe.
Well, actually, there's 2 smashes. Nope. No smashes, so.
Well,
no answer to this. No enough magic either that's at least drawn in hand, and none in the deck either, so.
You typically hesitate to call things this early, but I will say that this is going to be a very heavy blow, nearly insurmountable, once Stormlike drops this Time of Triumph.
The duel can come down at least. If you don't want Axe to die. Yep.
All right, so duel does come down, and you can't stop the Time of Triumph, but you can reduce the number of heroes that it lands on, so this is still better than nothing. It does also push additional damage on this tower, which is important.
And Stonehall Cloak can come down on Legion just to keep it a little bit healthier. Aphotic Shield not here to save the day for Shana. Does not bring the Abaddon like Mago. And we're going to see, like we said, lane 3 completely in control of Axe. Lane 2 now in control of Bristleback and Legion with that Time of Triumph buff. And unless Shana gets some ramp next turn to move up to 8 mana and draw that Time of Triumph maybe as well, it might be very close to over with a cleave, with a Berserker's Call if it's drawn from Stormlike, for example.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight something there. Shana had additional mana left over in that middle lane and opted to pass instead of playing an Unearthed Secrets or a Mist. So that tells me that he's likely hoping for some sort of initiative play here.
The call is there. And that is one juicy call from this big boy Bristleback onto 3 heroes. Initiative currently in favor of Shana, but he has to start making plays because he has to start impacting the board. He cannot be playing for initiative, I think, at this point. But we'll find out his plays again. He does find the favor. He can play into the second lane, but there isn't the Triumph yet. He can't play the Emissary, but the Emissary, I think, will be just too little too late.
All right, so the favor goes over.
And the Mist as well can probably be played into lane 2, because that is the lane that's in danger now. It's very wide.
Yes. The downside, however, is that once we go there, Shana won't have any heroes left.
Initiative in favor of Stormlike. Potion of Knowledge not played, obviously. Wants to keep this initiative for Berserker's Call. He can Triumph again even as well, but I think he wants to block some of the damage coming through. 14 damage already pressured there onto that lane.
All right, Stonehold Cloak comes down on the Bristle, and then we transition to
There's a lot of damage coming through.
Very large Berserker's Call. You sacrifice your Bristleback, but you gain so much.
Could draw Legionnaire here and draw the Thunderhide Alpha instead. A little bit too late for that as well. The game is almost over now, but damage did come through. So 3 HP on the second lane. Lane 3 is taken over. You can blink out the axe and still hit the 10 damage. Spring the trap as well. So just great resource management here from Stormlike. Can spring into lane 2 and blink the axe there as well. We'll see that happen here. So
yeah, I was just going to say, I would really like to see a spring to lane 2 just to stall, and I would like to see axe go to maybe even lane 1 because you've got an Omni Knight there and you're kind of pushing, but
there's a 10 for
2
10.
is fine.
Axe by himself taking that third lane. Maybe a mistake from Shana just giving it up so early on.
Yeah, again, that is a questionable call. Like I said, drawing cards still very important in the ramp deck, and it looks really bad right now because that card draw did not result in him finding the ramp. Could have went the other way, so it's hard to say if it's an exact play mistake, but it is something that is looking like it's haunting him.
Might just see a blink here from Omni Knight. Can play double Unearthed Secrets first in this lane. The creep will be hitting the tower there, so I honestly just see a blink here from Omni Knight. The double regen into this lane as well. Then you can play Time of Triumph, or even just stall out. Wait for your opponent to play. Thunder had a few creeps with his mana. Oh, not
wow, not going to blink. Just leaving Omni Knight there.
So keeping initiative instead. He can just duel the Lycan, yeah, and just guarantee the win. So that just makes a lot more sense here. Initiative kept from Stormlike. The duel comes out to kill the Lycan.
You can duel, and then you can even just Time of Triumph as well.
And that will be just guaranteed game. Stormlike making sure he has the right calls here. Even with the axe, the duel is still fine because of the -2 armor. The kill on Lycan comes in. There's no response from Shana, obviously, without any heroes in this lane. And the kill comes in as well. So props to Stormlike.
Yeah.
Wins the first game of his best of 3.
Stormlike is very happy with that victory because that was one where ramp didn't come very early, right? You didn't high roll that win. You just kind of navigated it properly, and it paid off.
Yeah, he did find the ramp early on where his opponent did not at all. No Time of Triumphs. But again, he had the setup early on with the regen we talked about, made his lanes a lot healthier, and the lane 3 was totally in his control as well. We'll see Stormlike switching to his Storm deck now, so has to win with that one. But pretty good start. Stars align. Emissary.
Yeah. So I am surprised that Shana didn't even consider, well, maybe he did consider it, but didn't switch decks here, right? Just because I think that his other list is tailored for beating this blue-green. However, because it's Conquest, you know you have to win with both your decks anyway. Maybe he just wants to take the bad matchup and say, all right, I didn't find my ramp last time. Maybe I'm going to high roll and find it this time. And we do see 1 Stars Align in hand and try to steal a victory here.
Yeah, I don't think it matters too much. I mean, like you said, it's Conquest, so Stormlike has to move off of the deck he won with, but Shana still has to win with both decks. So even if he changes decks and finds a better matchup against Storm, he still has to beat this Storm deck with his red-green. So at this point, don't think it's too important. Looks like that is important, though. Double Stars Align in hand for Shana with a Time and Triumph.
Yeah.
Definitely a good answer when there's no heroes to respond.
This has got to feel bad because this is the moment where Gust would have prevented it. You're on 4. This is exactly why you want Gust in your list, and no hero present.
That hurts quite a lot. Savage Wolf can be played here to trade with one of the creeps. We're going to see it come down, and Foresight played from Stormlike to just cycle through his deck, try and find the pieces he needs to go infinite.
Now, Stormlike does have Annihilation, so at some point can potentially use that to stall things out.
But might it be too late? I mean, with Time of Triumph on turn 2, that's 2 turns unanswered damage onto the tower. 2 turns where you can buy a Blink Dagger and then maybe split up your heroes anyway, so... And I think Axis is definitely not going to go into lane 1. That lane is already won, basically, for Shana, especially against these very weak blue heroes without any kind of board clear right now, 5 mana.
I would be shocked if we don't see an Axe end up going into the second lane, personally, because then you have both red and green available, and you want to try to deal with Canna and Drow.
2 heroes coming in there. It's a ballsy move. Duel will take down one of them. If we find another Stars Alignment, we could even see a Berserker's Call if Shana values that. And Axe is going to lane 3, trying to take over that as well.
So it's possible that Shana's thinking, all right, that middle lane is well populated, so I'll leave it alone. But there is a danger there, right? Because blue-green needs just one lane to like really go off, and so I don't know if I'm fully on board with not contesting it somehow.
An important note here now: no heroes coming in next turn, so anyone that dies now, there's no answer, no Blink Dagger in hand right now for Storm. So if this Zeus dies, we're going to see a duel maybe come out to guarantee the tower this turn.
Yeah, I feel like this is
There's going to be no answer here next turn either.
A pretty easy duel, though there could be a thought of greed, right? Because you could develop Roseleaf and then use the duel, but you're already winning this lane, so developing a Roseleaf doesn't feel necessary. And
could have saved the duel for lane 3, though. I think that would have been an option, all things considered. Well, that's a nice imp animation.
Yeah.
BM imp animation, but...
Yeah, a little bit more there from Nox.
And now it's all about lane 3, I think. Lane 2 is looking very thick here with Ikana. Passive ability, bringing the creeps to this lane. Guaranteed every turn.
Did you know that the M's have names?
Yeah, Nox and Luna.
Luna is a hero. It is Lux, sir.
That's it. Light and darkness, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's
Latin
references.
stuff. I'm not an expert, but...
All right, so we see a revelation here because, again, Stormlike is just trying to find your combo pieces. This is a combo deck, and that's a really good pickup if you want to start pressuring now.
Huge damage. Sanctum not found, unfortunately. That is the one thing that Stormlike wants to find. Shana has no Smash the Defenses and no Demagicking Maul in his deck, so absolutely no interaction with these improvements.
Absolutely. This is the worst of the 2 matchups for Shana, again, against this deck, but off to a good start.
And next turn with initiative, Jasper Daggers onto Bristleback, Berserker's Call. It's going to be a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of hurt coming onto those 2 heroes. Both would be dying to the Berserker's Call, so initiative going to be very important. We do see an Arcane Assault in hand. But the threat of the kill here on Kana is huge.
I like this. I like this play because, again, you want to try to push blue-green out of a lane.
And we mentioned, the way the hero deployments went, you killed 2 heroes the first turn, no heroes turn 2, which is actually a huge benefit for Shana in some ways because this turn you kill 3 heroes, no one responds next turn.
Right.
If you can keep initiative, there's no Arcane Assault that can be played before lane 3 comes into play. So I think Shana has to really value not making any more plays now.
Yeah, and even taking this a step further, right? If you're killing these blue heroes, next turn is mana turn 6, where you would typically want to play Annihilation, and you won't have heroes being deployed on that turn. So,
and there's almost no place to be made here. I mean, Ignite, sure, but that's pretty much it, unless you play Arcane Assault now. That's the only thing playing Arcane Assault a whole, like, 3 turns in advance, or 3 lanes in advance. We'll see if he goes for it. If he gets greedy, well, he can annihilate with Stars Align, actually. That would be an interesting play for sure. Gonna go for Secrets instead, so...
All right.
Oh, the daggers equipped this turn, though. I don't think he needed them. He's still threatening the kill on Ogre, so he can't play Annihilation next turn.
I was gonna say, the only thing I'm thinking about there is that if you wait till the next time, right, you can't daggers right away. So if he's fearing...
but the damage coming through this turn from just combat phase damage would have killed the Ogre next turn anyway, I think, with the attack, even without piercing. So I think both plays are fine. They both equate to the same thing, which is a clear of this lane next turn. And Stormlike really can't do anything, being run over here by red-green.
Yeah, and Shana already has 20 gold before this combat even resolves, so if a Blink Dagger or 2 are found, this one will be over very, very quickly. But that is typically what happens when a turn 2 Time of Triumph goes off.
Now, initiative in favor of Stormlike. He has this set up with the 2 unearned secrets, but it might be too little too late. The Gust can come down.
Yeah, the problem is that...
there's 1 creep to block.
I mean, there's no blue heroes helping you out.
25 gold on Shana's side. We could see a secret shop purchase. We could just see a whole ton of Blink Daggers. That would help out, just putting a ton of pressure, no annihilation threat in that 3rd lane, which means that there would be no punishment to going all in from Shana.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the play here, right?
Oh, baby, Horn of the Alpha, secret shop. What is this?
That is game is what that is, sir. That Horn is going to drop a big boy dinosaur in that 3rd lane. And it's going to be over because Shana has initiative, and this Treant will have no opportunity.
Richard coming through for so many players today. We saw the Horn of the Alpha. We saw the golden ticket. Get the Hero Escape as well for Mago.
My mistake. Excuse me. I said Shana had initiative. Shana does not. Stormlike has initiative, but goes greedy.
And there's the Berserker's call to end the game. Does he equip the Horn first, though? Don't concede, Stormlike. Nah, show him the Horn, Shana. Come on. He does tie the series, though. 1-1.
Wow.
A very quick red-green showing, you know, the strength of the deck. You find the turn 2 Time of Triumph. You find the control of the board against these weak blue heroes. And there's no infinite combo if your heroes are dead and you end the game at, you know, turn 3, I think it was.
That is really, really important for Shana because that was easily the worst of the 2 matchups, right? If you would have told me I was going to have red-green going into the blue-green Salamene Storm, and I've got no smash their defenses or anything like that working in my favor, I would not be happy about that. And Shana getting some love from Richard Garfield with those draws.
And we're going to cue, again, the Horn didn't matter in the end. So
yeah.
It's a nice comical thing, but it didn't really affect the state of the game. The Stars line did, though, so still Richard pulling through there for Shana.
Yeah,
but
he can thank Richard Garfield for making this card called Dark Ritual and then bringing it over and renaming it to Stars Align.
Looking at this game, though, we see a good early start from both players in terms of board impact for Shana and setup for Stormlike with the Unearned Secrets to help draw into his combo. A very important card to have here. We're going to see the Woke Mono Red with the 1 black hero for Shana.
Yeah, and this is, again, a list that I am a fan of. I think that it is well positioned because you have a lot of ways to kill enemy heroes, both in the lane and cross lane. And then because this does run Tidehunter, you have access to getting initiative. And as we know, that's very important against this deck.
We see a promo code on the stream as well. Enter that in somewhere. I guess you guys should know where if you're paying attention.
There should be a link in the Twitch chat.
That's it.
Click on it, enter that promo code, and you have an opportunity to, I believe, win some packs of Artifact.
Exciting.
Exciting stuff. You could use those packs to build a deck, participate in an open qualifier, and end up playing for money just like Shana and Stormlike did.
That's a bit optimistic, Charmer, but sure.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Mislead the viewers. I like it.
Everybody starts somewhere. I mean, look, Stormlike is like level 13, man. He started probably 2 weeks ago.
Maybe not.
Okay, maybe not.
But you can believe.
You can believe. You can believe. We all start somewhere. And
now PA here could run into Drow.
Could run into Drow.
All that attack bonus as well. And we see a hand that is...
I was going to say that to me felt like a really interesting deployment because you were going to double stack your green. And I know the Treant is likely going to die, but well, you know, there's...
If Axe finds the combat against the Drow, you can still play Legion Standard Bearer to get the +4 if the creep doesn't land next to Axe as well, but it seems like it will. So in this case, too bad, so sad for Shana, but the Drow should survive.
No, the Drow ended up in front of X.
But only 6 attack. The nerf coming in hot. No weapon, only Stonehall Cloak for Shana, so you can't place the Standard Bearer here unless you kick the creep out of the way.
Yeah. So worth highlighting, Stormlike has a Stars Align, has a Prey on the Weak, has an Emissary. So essentially at this point we're just looking for like one more piece, right? You want a Sanctum and then maybe a second Stars Align, something like that.
Will it be too little too late though? Second lane, 28 damage coming through. First lane, complete control with that funnel attack formation from PA, Legion, the Bronze Legionnaire, and Richard the Creep.
Yeah, that is the question. Richard the Creep, you're naming the creeps now?
He's come back.
He's come back.
That's a distinctive feature. right there on his shoulder. If you zoom in, magnify, you'll see it.
Enhance, like CSI.
That's it. Diabolic can come down, but again, there's a lot of setup here. There's a lot of setup plays, but when you're playing against a deck that is, in theory, more aggressive than you are, and you just set up and don't control the board, then sometimes you can just get run over quickly, and then, like we saw before.
The problem with the Diabolic there is that your Drow would have also been dying there, right? Because it's lined up against the Axe. So as much as you want to dig and just find those answers, you need to stall here as well.
Ignite will kill the Bronze Legionnaire. I think Stormlike reacting to the last game and saying, I can't play Zeus here alone because if a duel is drawn by Shana, Legion will, or even a gank from PA, it would kill the Axe here and just continue pushing damage. I think he has to give up one of these two lanes, give up in theory. Prey on the Weak can be played to stall, but if initiative is in favor of Shana, which it is, and the duel is drawn, at 5 mana, it could be enough to just...
Yeah, and of the lanes to give up, it makes sense to give up the second for a couple of reasons. One, it's lower in health, so it's harder to defend. Two, the melee creep spawns means it's getting reinforcements. But going a step further, if you're this blue-green deck, you want to have a presence in that first lane. You want to try to set up future, like, Thunder God's Wraths. You also want to get this Phantom Assassin out of this lane so it can't gank cross lane. There's a lot of emphasis on this first lane here.
Talking about combo pieces, the Sanctum is drawn. So now only the Incarnation missing. We have the card draw as well. We have the Emissary to kind of buff the units up and then play the Diabolic that does damage your own units. So, the Town Portal Scroll from PA. It's a very interesting option.
It is a very interesting option.
I believe it might have been under at any cost range. When you see the look at the health pools, we see a 6 attack would kill the Legion. I think PA was also damaged to the point where she would also die there. So heads up play from Shana.
It is also possible that you want to reposition that Phantom Assassin so that your coup de grace is in the lane you want. And if Shana says, this is not the lane I want to coup something, picking her up, setting her back down in, say, lane 3 potentially could be a big deal.
Might have been at 1 HP as well. I'm not too sure. With the Ignite ticking as well. Could have been a Zeus target there. So we have to look back at that. But I guess if you guys pay a lot of attention, you guys know for sure what the reason was.
Yeah. Spam chat with emotes if it was 1 health. I'm sure that the moderators will love it.
We're in the future, Charmer. We won't even see that. There's bad ideas. Sanctum does come down, though. It is one of the pieces that you need to be able to gust, which is in hand. You can gust the heroes.
Yeah.
And this is Stormlike digging. The
and a multicast. All right.
He has to find... Well, he killed a lot of creeps in lane 3, though. That was a risky Diabolic Revelation, but... I mean, the fact is that if he finds...
I think that...
Incarnation.
Yeah.
He could have just gone off this turn, so... Maybe too risky from Stormlike.
Well, I mean, Stormlike is pretty far behind, so it is possible that he thought and assessed and said, all right, I'm at the point where I have to take risks.
Yeah.
This could backfire, but doing nothing is also not a path to victory, so you got to do it.
Annihilation also not in hand, so maybe looking for that as well. But in the end, does go for the pass here. Well, he has no mana. He could have refreshed, though, for the 2 more Diabolics. He wanted to just kill himself.
Could have refreshed, yeah. But this this tells me that he might have been wanting initiative here.
Ooh, the Kraken Shell could be huge here from Shana, though. Can also play Stonehold Lead and then still Kraken Shell.
Yeah, that is a very big pickup. We've kind of been highlighting how important initiative is. Even more so going into this turn 6.
Second Diabolic kills all of his creeps, finds the Arcane Assault and another Prey on the Weak, but not Incarnation, not the Annihilation.
No Incarnation, no second stars align, no Annihilation. That is rough to see if you are Stormlike. You have used all of your digging options and you are not finding treasure.
He has 1 more, or 2 more rather, but still it might be too little too late. Again, the damage coming through here. Axe can play Stonehold Lead and Kraken Shell, but he could just save initiative right now and keep that Kraken Shell.
I was going to say, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see the dig with the Assault.
And now we'll see Stonehold Lead trades with the Kana and also the Kraken Shell to take back initiative. So huge plays here from Shana. Very patient.
Plays. So Stormlike does find the Incarnation and gets another draw because of Unearthed Secrets.
Now if a Berserker's Call comes down, could end, initiative in favor of Stormlike.
Yeah. Well, we have the Phantom Assassin redeploy coming, so if that goes back in the first lane, you could just open with a coup and shut this down. I can't imagine Phantom Assassin going anywhere else, if I'm being honest.
We saw Stormlike before taking control of a game through Thunder God's Wrath, for example, with the Incarnation coming down and just, it looked like it was a lost game, and then all of a sudden he turned it around. But right now, There's no Thunder God Wrath in hand. He does have the Zeus in his deck and does not have the Luna, for example.
Yeah,
so no
see,
Eclipse.
Shana recognizes, he says, okay, deploying this Treant anywhere else does nothing for my opponent. He needs the 2 heroes paired together if he wants to combo, so I need to put this Phantom Assassin wherever I can coup. Good choice by Shana.
Triple Blink Dagger, Berserker's Call, and Duel Found, so
wow, that is
Berserker's Call could come down here. Would not kill the Treant, though. Might just see a coup instead.
That is an awful lot of Blink Dagger in his hand. That is a Bling Dagger hand right there.
So he kills the blue hero, I think. The green hero isn't as, like we mentioned before, not as explosive. It's more utility from green. You have the Ramp, you have the Gust, you have the Stars Align. Has to be scared of Annihilation more than Gust, though, I think.
Hold on, 6, 12, 14.
Yep, there's the coup onto the Ogre.
What is the health total that is currently being threatened in the 3rd lane?
If he blinks these heroes, it would be enough. But the Gust in hand, if Stormlike is patient enough, if he waits for 3 Blink Daggers to come down on these heroes and then Gusts, could be the play of the century.
Well, I mean, it would stall for a turn, but then you'd still have to deal with these here the following turn,
That's
right?
true.
So
the Emissary comes down as a blocker. There is the refresh as well, so even if the Emissary is committed, the Gust could still be here. Now,
this is perfect for this task.
so Shana's going to be patient.
Yeah, going to be patient. I like
if
this.
Stormlike plays double Emissary and gets greedy, we're going to see all 3 of these heroes blink out to lane 3 and just win the game, I think. So,
all right, so there's the Sanctum.
He has to Gust here, I think.
Well, I mean, we get 1 response, right? So if you're Shana, I might consider just blinking now. Or passing because of the refresh, but yeah, you just blink now so you get at least additional pressure. I like this play.
And now Stormlike might think, he can't possibly have 3 Blink Daggers. I'm just going to play my Emissary to defend here. And he does!
Oh!
The second Blink Dagger comes on, and Legion says, see you later, Treant. Have a fun party there with the Emissaries.
And Shana just...
The pumps come in with the saddest pumps of Stormlike's life. The Legion blinks to lane 3.
Shana should pull this out, and, you know, this was the first series from Shana I saw, you know, some potential misplays. I'm not going to call them straight misplays,
but... Blink Dagger. Stormlike is just laughing to himself. Yeah. Everyone leaves the lane. Emissary is all alone. The saddest party of all time. 18 damage coming through, but lane 2 is down.
This is a time where blue-green got to play 2 emissaries, and it's still not enough. Wow.
Lane 2 is down.
There was almost a smile from Shana there for a moment. Almost.
Lane 3 is down, and that's going to be the series and the first finalist of this tournament. Shana pulls through.
Going to the finals. Shout out to Stormlike for giving him the blue button there. All right, that's good sportsmanship.
And that is a crazy, unorthodox finish. 3 Blink Daggers. The Gust could have come down, but 2 greedy maybe from Stormlike, and does not counter that.
Listen, it's easy for us when we can see the hands to like talk about that, but you don't think I need to Gust here because of 3 Blink Daggers. That is insane.
We'll see what the panel thinks about that play. Panel, please.